everybody, and welcome to TP Talk. Anyone know the reference? Bob Uecker, Major League. Great film, 1989. David Ward directing. This isn't a movie podcast, although I do have a movie podcast, Joe and Ronan Talk Movies. Check it out. There's a new episode coming soon. We're going to talk The Killer. And last episode we talked Killers of the Flower Moon. A lot of killing. A lot of kill. But this is the Mindful Metal Jacket podcast. That sounded like this is Jeopardy. Did you know the Jeopardy song was written by Merv Griffin himself, and it runs exactly 30 seconds. This is not what we're here for. Let's get down to business. Welcome to Mindful Metal Jacket. How are you feeling? How are you doing? I hope you're being kind to yourself. I hope you're taking good care of yourself. We're coming up in the holiday season, which of course can be very stressful. If you let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be, hell, let it be. Today's guest, my friend Doug Key, returning champion. Speaking of Jeopardy, Doug Key back on the podcast. He was on it years ago. By the way, go check out the backlogged episode. We had some huge stars on here. There's, Stavros Halkias was on, Matteo Lane, and just a bunch of other people. But there's some great episodes back there. Sam Morrill, Dan Soder, Gary Gulman. I should name some non-white guys. Chris Allen, Ian Lara, Matteo Lane, and a bunch of fucking broads too. Sarah Talamash, Chloe Radcliffe, Isabel Hagen, a bunch of others. Anyways, go check out the backlog. Make sure you're subscribed. Tell a friend. Doug Key is on. Doug is back. Doug is a good buddy of mine. He has a brand new special called Mother of the Year. That's on Mark Norman's YouTube page. Doug shot it at the Providence Comedy Connection, and our pal Chuck was a cameraman there. Jason Katz, of course, directed it. I believe Jason Katz directed it. God, I hope so. Oh boy, maybe he didn't. I think he did. Anyways, Doug is absolutely hilarious and sexy as hell and healthy as hell. We have a great conversation. We talk a lot about physical health, mental health. We talk about my baby being born. He's having a baby in a little while, so he had some dad questions. So we get into all that stuff. We talk about longevity, exercise, diet, all that fun stuff. So there's a lot of longevity talk and how to motivate yourself to exercise, which I got to do right after this. And it was a really fun episode. I was really, really happy with it. And we get, like I said, down and dirty with the baby details. So it's a great episode. I hope you enjoy. Make sure you watch Doug's special, Mother of the Year, full comedy special for free on YouTube, the very website you're watching this on if you're watching it, but maybe you're listening. But do it later. Do it now, whatever you want to do. And subscribe to this podcast. Tell some friends. That's the best thing you can do for any podcast. And make sure you check out Tuesdays with Stories and Joe and Ronan Talk Movies. I'm doing a lot of podcasting, especially with the baby being here. It's a lot of hanging out, talking, chilling, talking, chalking. Maybe you can hear him back there. He's squirming. Anyways, thanks for being here, and enjoy this episode with Doug Key. And this weekend, if you haven't already bought tickets, you might be running out of time. DC Improv, early shows are sold out, so get your tickets to that. And then January, Tacoma Comedy Club. I love Tacoma. I love that club. Pittsburgh in March, Poughkeepsie in January. And be kind to yourself. Happy Thanksgiving. I love you. I'm gay. And here comes me and Doug Key. We're back. We're live. I'm here. I don't know how this podcast starts. I just finished doing Joe and Ronan.
Oh, yeah?
So it's different pod mode. I should be more like, hello, welcome. But I do that in the intro.
What movie did you review?
Killers of the Flower Moon. Have you seen it?
I have not seen it. I heard good things, mainly from your stories. You didn't like it?
I love the movie. Ronan hated it, but this is the thing. I don't know if you're like this. When I watch a movie, I have to watch a movie multiple times to really get a proper feel for it.
Oh, of course. Before I can memorize one line, I have to watch it multiple times.
Well, I just find so much factors into, and this is probably the same with music and relationships and everything, is so much is about the mood and the time when you watch it. Like if you're breaking up with someone and then you watch a movie, you're like, I fucking hate that movie.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some sort of psychological study behind that.
There is, and I feel like the more positive reviews you hear of a movie, I feel like you start to convince yourself that you it's a good movie.
Confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias, yes.
Yeah. Do you find that? Yeah, I find that a lot where you hear people just regurgitating things they've heard a million times. And
True.
then it start to be like, what is the truth here?
Yeah. But I mean, Scorsese, great director, obviously. I don't want to say I've worked for him, but I did background on a couple Scorsese projects. So I get to watch him. I get to watch him direct, which was the coolest thing ever. Yes, I did 2 projects. This is like early when I moved to New York. I didn't start working as a therapist right away. I was just like, I'm going to make a push for comedy. During the day, I'm going to like pick and choose these background projects. And I selected, there was one project and it was called Vinyl. It was an HBO.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was a mini series or maybe it was a show that just got canceled. Have you seen it?
I think we tried watching it. I just can't watch TV shows. I try. I hate The Sopranos.
I know. And it was, I never watched the whole Sopranos either.
How come? You didn't like it?
I mean, I watched a few of it. And it's like after you watch like mob movies, then you watch that, like a few episodes, it's cartoony.
Hi, folks. This week's episode of Mindful Metal Jacket is brought to you by Factor. You have a lot going on this fall season. Of course, we all do. It's important to save time where you can, and you can do that with Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Saving time in the kitchen is a total breeze with Factor. Factor delivers chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals straight to your door. They're always fresh, never frozen. Just heat them up for 2 minutes and dinner is served. Guys, this is exactly what I need. I need healthy stuff. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to make it. It sucks. I have a bad diet. The only thing I do well is make smoothies. They do that too. They will send you some stuff that is prepared, ready, healthy, dietitian approved. That's what I need. I need a dietitian. Or maybe I just need Factor. You can choose from over 35 weekly meal options, including awesome breakfast options like apple cinnamon pancakes, bacon and cheddar egg bites. With so many options, there's something for everyone in the family will love. My family is especially hard to please. Not my immediate family now. Now I have my own family. The baby just drinks milk all day and then spits it up out of his nose. Anyways, my initial family, extended family, they don't know what the hell's going on. I'm the same way. I'm a product of the same thing. That's why I like Factor. They'll send you all kinds of stuff. You can just pick and choose. They have vegan options, vegetarian options, keto, calorie smart, protein plus meal options. No matter what your goals are, Factor can help you get there. Head to factormeals.com/metal50 and use code metal50 to get 50% off. That's code METAL, MEATAL 50 at factormeals.com/metal50 to get 50% off. My baby's making noise. Back to the show. I want to suck you out. I want to take your pants off and suck your cock to completion, spit it in Lex's face.
So how many times have you given it a shot, though?
Many times.
Yeah.
Many times. Several times. Twice.
Yeah.
One time.
I think just some of the actors are like not believable.
This is my thing. This is my. Are you just saying this to get in my pants?
No, I've never.
This is what I talk about.
I knew that you. I wasn't sure. I knew that you had very strong opinions. Now I forget if you loved it or hated it.
It just feels so cartoony. And Rana and I were talking about this a couple episodes ago, where they go, that's the point. It just makes it impervious to criticism. You're like, I hate the cinematography. Yeah, it's supposed to be bad cinematography.
It's like a Tarantino version of a mafia movie, kind of.
Right. I mean, I love Tarantino, but
yeah.
I just think it's quite cartoony and silly. Sorry, I've talked about this on a million podcasts.
Yeah,
but the point is vinyl.
So vinyl, yeah. So it's like the birth of punk rock in like the early 70s when it was like transitioning from disco to punk, like the Ramones and all that. And I think Mick Jagger was like a producer, and Mick Jagger's son was played like the lead singer of the rock band.
Okay.
And Scorsese was directing, and it was one of the actresses was Juno Temple. Do you know who that is?
I don't think so.
She's pretty. I don't know what else she's in, but she was like put near me in one of the scenes, and I was all like 70s up, same hair, which is why I was cast for this background gig. And Martin Scorsese, he's like walking around. He's 3 feet tall.
Is that right?
He's the smallest man ever, not literally, but he's tiny. Like you just people walking around him at all times. So when you see a group of people like in a circle, you know that he's in the middle.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he comes up to Juno Temple and he's like, I didn't even know she was a lead actress at the time. Because her scene was just she's watching the band but she has no line. So I'm like, who's this lady? So he comes up and I'm like, why is he talking to this background girl? Thinking that like he's just talking to background people. And the main rule they said was like, don't talk to Marty.
Oh, really?
So yeah. So he comes up to this girl and he's like dusting her shoulders off and being like, all right, yeah, you look like touching her hair. Yeah, you look good. You look good. And I have my fake cigarette. Like they give you like herbal cigarettes to smoke. And I'm just smoking my herbal cigarette. I'm like, how about me, Marty? How do I look? And he goes, where do we get this guy? And I was like,
wow, this is unbelievable.
I know. That was like the best moment of my life, is like making Martin Scorsese laugh for 1 second.
That's wild. I had no idea. This is mind blowing. You don't like The Sopranos and you work with Scorsese? He touched you? I mean, we should be best friends.
I know. The second time, sorry, I'm hogging this
You're the guest.
True.
Please.
So I signed up for untitled Scorsese movie, and it was like rumored to have, you know, Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. So I signed up for it, and it was The Irishman.
Sure.
So I did a whole week on set on The Irishman with like, it was like the climax scene of like this big party scene. Every actor that was in the movie was in this scene. So I'm at like, it was like the dinner scene. It was like the Frank something appreciation night for De Niro's character. And it was like, I'm at the table next to, you know, De Niro, Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, Bobby Cannavale, Ray Romano. Scorsese's running around directing with an oxygen mask on because there's like all this atmospheric smoke.
Wow.
So like no matter what I do in my career, nothing will be as cool as like spending 5 days just watching all these mafia legends in the same room.
Can you see you in the movie? Are you in there?
For like, there's like 4 little periods where you can see a blurry version of me. I'm like in like a red and white checkered suit. Like it's literally Where's Waldo.
That's amazing.
I can send you the pictures.
Yeah, please send them to me. I mean, I've seen the movie not a million times. I've seen it 4 times.
Yeah, but it's crazy seeing all those guys that like you grew up watching like right in front of you, and like all the rumors about De Niro being stone-faced. That's true. He like doesn't talk to anybody on set.
Wow.
Pacino was like yucking it up with the background people.
So you do a lot of that?
No, I literally only did like a few period piece interesting ones. Like I'm not going to be a career. I wasn't like, oh, I want to do this for money and for, you know, I was just like, all right, these are cool projects.
I feel like you wear a lot of hats. So you're like a physical therapist,
an
emotional therapist. I forget. We talked before.
Yeah. So when I started comedy in 2009, I went to school for physical therapy. So I was a physical therapy assistant for like 12 years. And then during the pandemic, I went back to school to get my master's in occupational therapy.
Right.
Which is similar. Occupational therapy is more of a holistic approach to the body, the mind, the soul, everything. It's more of like you're treating, like a physical therapist, like we treat the injury, the body part. But as an occupational therapist, you're not only treating the body, but you're treating the person.
Right.
So that's there's more of a mental component to it as well.
I might have questions for you because I have a hip issue, and I made a doctor's appointment with what's it called? Doctors that work in bones and joints.
Well, there's chiropractics.
No, what's the other one?
Orthopedic?
Orthopedic.
Yes.
I made an appointment with an orthopedic.
Okay.
Because I have this thing. I think it all stems. This is literally just me asking you to help me. But I want to get into.
You just have a plinth here. I could do some stretches for you.
I want to get into more mental health stuff, and you've been so helpful to me at different times. I still do the bicep stretch with the C on the wall.
Yeah, bicep stretch, back of the hand, C.
Yeah.
Because you're targeting all the different fibers of the bicep.
Right.
Yeah.
So I started doing like weighted squats a while ago, like holding a 20-pound dumbbell, doing a bunch of squats.
Ooh.
And then I started doing, I have a thing here. At one point, whatever the top of this hip bone, iliad or something, I looked it up.
Yeah.
You don't know. Do I know more than you?
Ilium?
Ilium.
Yeah.
Ilium
The iliac crest.
Ilium Wallace. Yes, the iliac crest.
The iliac crest is like what you can grab onto when you're
Yeah, exactly.
Doggy
Thank
style.
God you pulled that, because there was a moment where I was like, does this guy know nothing about anything?
Yeah.
Well, anyways, there's a point over here somewhere where I can actually, it can hurt to the touch. And after I sit for a while, I stand and I feel it. Like I'm like, when I stand up. Not horrible pain, but just you can feel it in there.
Well, it's interesting because the crest is not a joint. It's just the peak of that bone. So there's no other bones that are really articulate with that.
Right.
But below it, there's your ball and socket joint, which is your hip joint.
Right, but that's lower.
It's lower.
Like in here. And if I sit for a long time, I stand, I just feel it right there. And someone was like, oh, it could be a hernia, but I'm like, it doesn't feel hernia-y to me.
I mean, there could be referred pain because like a lot of people have rotated hips where one side is angled forward and the other side is angled more back, or just in neutral.
Now, who would I see to talk about this? Because, that's what I was going to say. I made an appointment with chiropodist or whatever the fuck it's called. What is it called?
An orthopedic doctor.
And then they called me today and we're like, yeah, she doesn't treat that.
Yeah.
So I will say. Physical therapy? What do I do?
Physical therapy, I mean, this is confirmation bias again, because most of the pain in our body can be, if it's not psychosomatic and it's a physical pain stemming from a physical, injury or whatever, or, a injury over time, it can be cured with strengthening and stretching. So if you have a tight muscle, stretch the tight muscle. If you have a weak muscle, strengthen that. So it's really just bringing balance back to the body.
Well, that's what I read, is that it could be bursitis, hip bursitis or something like that, like a sac. But it said one thing is from working out like not doing enough core, because I do a lot of chest and quad and butt, but not a ton of core. So I was trying to do stretching and more core.
That's a big problem, is like everything stems from the core. If you don't have a strong foundation, your house is going to collapse. Right. So everything starts proximal, meaning the most center, and then works distal. So you have to start by strengthening your core, which is not only your abs, but your lower back, your obliques. Right. And then you can start to work outward.
But didn't you say once that abs are made in the kitchen, you don't do ab workout? Did I make that up?
No, I was
fantasizing about you sexually?
I did say that abs are made in the kitchen, but that's more of how they appear physically, aesthetically.
Right.
Like when we think of abs, we think of six pack, which is your rectus abdominis, which is actually just the most superficial, most abs. But you have your your obliques, and you have your, I'm blanking on the name right now, but there's the innermost abs that are transverse abdominis, which is like basically your natural corset. It's attached to the spine, and that's what holds the spine in place. Right. So that, you ever do planks?
Yeah, I do them quite a bit. I've been doing them a lot now, trying to rid myself of this.
Yeah, so that strengthens the transverse abdominis, and you can't, that's what you should start with first. Do those every day. You can't overtrain those.
Okay, because I do a lot of push-ups. Isn't push-ups similar or not so much?
Because you're in a push-up position, you are kind of engaging that transverse abdominis, and you're also doing your chest muscles or your triceps, whatever. But you have to start there.
So planks are big, because I want to talk about this a little bit too. Sure. It's like, what exercises are the best for? I have several questions actually, and maybe this is more a mental thing. Is like, I have no stomach, no pun intended, for exercising on my own. I really need a trainer or a sport or something. Like I go to the gym. I have a gym membership. When I go to the gym or work out at home, I've been working out at home because I have a baby now. I do push-ups. I can get to 50, 60 push-ups, and then I'm like, all right,
yeah, I'm done.
That's enough.
No, I'm the same way.
How do I put in 30 minutes, 45 an hour? What is that? How do you get over that?
Well, you mentioned the mental component of it. I think that seeing the results, so being diligent enough to see like that first new muscle pop out visually, you're like, that's going to motivate you. That's the biggest motivating factor, is being like, I just carried all my groceries without fatiguing or having to stop.
Right. I always say that results are addictive.
Results are addictive.
I thought that way with stand-up too. When you started listening to my sets, all of a sudden you're like, I have a lot of new material because I've been doing sets and listening to it.
Yeah, it's self-motivating, but still, like, nothing motivates me more than having somebody else. Like, I love working out, but also if I'm going to the gym with somebody and it's consistent, that's going to motivate me more because I'm held accountable. Like, I have to be there for them. You know what I mean? Right. Like the guy that trained me how to work out, like years and years ago, I was, his goal was to like not let me be stronger than him. My goal was to be like, I'm going to be stronger than him.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is like when we were lifting and, when you're in your early 20s, and that's important. But now it's just, I just want to be able to, like I said, carry all my groceries in one trip.
Well, I also listen to, and I care a lot about now with a baby even more so, which you're about to have.
Yes.
We can get into this baby business in a second. But I've always wanted to, I enjoy life. You know me. I'm a fun guy. I like to party.
Very fun.
We were roommates at the Norman bachelor party.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry about the snoring, by the way.
I was shocked and chagrined to find that you snore because you're so physically fit.
Yeah, but when I'm drinking, it's like game over. And I have asthma, so I create the illusion that I'm in shape, but I have no physical endurance.
Right. You have asthma. Hello,
asthma.
Folks. Call me. But anyways... What the fuck was I just about to talk about? Oh, so I'm very interested and desirable of longevity. I want to live a long life. I have a horrible diet. Yeah. And not horrible, but not great. A lot of pasta. Pasta's bad.
Yeah. Well, it's your palate too. You don't really have like a very extensive cultural palate.
I don't care for Thai food, as you know. You were there for that.
Yeah.
Witness.
Yeah, I was there for that. That was, we don't have to get into that, but
no, let's not.
It was a fun to watch though.
It was quite something.
I love just the sliding door, and another thing. On the patio.
It was I took quite a beating there. But anyways, but longevity, what's do you think about that? How do you think about that? And obviously, I've heard this, I referenced in the other podcast, Peter and Tia talk about a huge thing is strength. And there's a study that the longer someone can hold a flexed arm is directly correlated to their life expectancy. Because what happens as you get older, particularly if you're weak, as so many people are, is like if you break a hip or a bone, it's a death sentence, and your hip, you can become more brittle without all the muscle and
Of course, yeah. Going into your golden years with the most muscle mass you could have, and I don't want to say like, big, bulky, jacked old man, but if you can like preserve whatever skeletal muscle you have going into your elder years, that's going to give you more longevity to your life, because skeletal muscle holds nutrients and vitamins and more blood.
Right. So it's not just for looks to do curls and shoulder presses and all that shit.
And that's what I try to tell people is they're like, oh, I'm fine the way I am, especially with like body positivity stuff. It's like, oh no, this isn't just to get laid. This is like, you want your quality of life to be easier and better.
Right. And how about walk? I walk a lot. That's something.
It's the best exercise.
Really?
It's the best. Yeah. I mean, people say like, oh, I run, I wake up at 5 a.m. and I run 15 miles. And it's like, you're actually doing more damage to your body if you're a runner and you don't have proper hip mechanics or proper footwear. But walking is the best because it's little impact on your joints. You do have to have a proper gait pattern to walk properly, because there are people who don't know how to walk. They're toe walkers. They walk on their toes, or they walk with like, you ever see somebody who walks like duck footed with their hips out or pigeon toed? They need therapy to correct their gait mechanics so they can strengthen everything in a proper way.
Right. But in general, walking, very good. But I also have high blood pressure, and they're like, well, do a walk. And I'm like, I walk the most. I walk fucking 6-7 miles a day, but I think it's hereditary and diet.
Yeah, there's other factors that go into it that you can't just, aren't curable with 3 times a week exercise.
Oh yeah, that was the bachelor party too. We did blood pressure, and I had a freak out. I had to leave, and I came back with McDonald's.
Did you do the IV?
I didn't do an IV. I don't believe in the IV situation. I think it's silly.
Well, because it's just like vitamins. It doesn't give you superpowers. It just brings you back to homeostasis, which is where your body's supposed to be, and that's a feeling. You don't like feel anything. You're like, oh, I feel normal now.
But you must feel good all the time. You're so fit. You do a lot of working out. I feel like you eat okay, but you drink.
I drink occasionally. I'm not like a binge drinker, and I only have a couple. The bachelor party was a different story. We were doing a lot of stuff, but yeah. You see the size of this nose? I would ruin the party if I did that. But I'm not the poster child of health. Like, I do eat shit. I do eat Chinese food and fucking can take down, half a pizza by myself easily. I mean,
Chinese food is the best thing. That's like the healthiest thing I eat. It's General Tso.
I think we need to analyze your diet before your physical body.
Well, I do smoothies. I get some spinach.
I love
is good.
smoothies.
I got a big banana, blueberry, spinach, which everyone always writes to me and they're like, dude, they send me an article like, that causes kidney stones. You're going to have horrible kidney stones.
What,
and I'm like,
spinach?
Yes. And I'm like, I've had a spinach smoothie. I've been having it for 10 years. I stuff a ton in there. I haven't had any kidney stones.
You like kale?
I don't care for kale.
Yeah.
I don't hate kale. I don't like kale.
Spinach is fine. I think it's just, too much of anything is not good. But if you're putting a handful of spinach in a smoothie with other stuff, it's fine. If you're eating the entire, gallon of spinach, you might die.
Yeah, you might get fucked up. But at oatmeal, I have oatmeal. That's good.
Me too.
Lowers cholesterol. Oatmeal's good.
I love oatmeal.
All right. Now we're talking.
Yeah. I have like a smoothie station. I have a little NutriBullet, and I have like a little thing with all the little pouches of all the add-ins. That's like my pride and joy.
Now tell me about the add-ins. Are the add-ins worth a damn?
I do chia seeds. I have flaxseed, the whey protein powder to give it a little flavor. sunflower seeds, sunflower.
So you're all seeds.
I like, seeds and, little powders like ashwagandha root powder, maca root powder.
I got flaxseed pill form. Is that anything?
Sure. I guess.
I don't know. I'm trying to.
I'll be honest. I don't know what all the stuff does. I just know that it's good based on the paragraph on the back of the pouch.
All right. I'm trying to take shits.
I'm not a nutrition. I'm not a dietitian. I just know certain.
I know, but you look fantastic.
It's mostly genetics, I feel like.
So what do you do? So I'm going to work out today. After this, I'm like, I got to get a little workout in. I go to do push-ups. When I feel the need to do, all right, I did 20. I'm laying down. Let me look at my phone. How do I keep going?
Well, it depends. Are you doing it just for maintenance, or are you doing it to like see big results?
I want to look good, feel good. I want to live a long time. I want to lower blood pressure. I want to lower all the stuff. And I look okay, by the way.
I think if you do, no, you look great. You're an athletic guy.
You got that straight.
I've seen you play catch before.
Yes, that was another thing.
I've seen you jump into a pool.
That's another thing at bachelor party. I was throwing perfect spirals.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, it was really something.
You have good precision.
Thank you.
But I'd say
can really throw a ball.
If you work out at home, where do you work, down here?
Usually, I mean, I go to Equinox and I get bored there.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Also, I didn't want to throw my success at you, but
do you have like a routine? Do you have like things written down, or do you just go in and wing it? No, I don't do
a routine. I got no routine. I just start doing push-ups, and then I'm like, maybe I'll do some crunches. I have 2 dumbbells. If they're 15s, which I got in this argument with Justin Silver. Okay. I think if I'm doing low weight, high rep, I'm getting something out of that. Am I not? He said I'm getting 0.
You're maintaining. So it's not 0. You're making 0 gains in your strength and size. If you are, it depends what your goals are. If your goals are to gain muscle mass, you go lower weight, heavier weight, lower reps. Muscle endurance, you go more reps, medium weight.
Right.
But if you're doing light weight multiple times, like 15s are, if you're doing 100, you'll probably start to fatigue.
Well, that's why like Justin was like, just throw those out. He's like, they're not anything. But I'm like, but my thought,
it's a warm up.
So I'm like, let's say you can clone me. There's 2 me's. Everybody's dream come true.
All right.
And one me is doing fucking 30, 15 pound, hammer curls, and the other one's not. Isn't curl me going to be better than girl me?
Curl me, you won't atrophy, but no weight will atrophy, will get smaller and weaker.
Right. Okay. So I'm maintaining these. So I got to get some bigger fucking dumbbells or go back to the gym.
PRE, progressive resistive exercise. So each set you should be going up in weight. So here's my thing.
Hit me with the thing. Everyone with the thing.
Yeah, the rule of 8s. This is what I learned early on, and it's just what I just pick. There's tons of different things that work for you. Just find one that you like and that you see results with, and stick with it. Okay. I do the rule of 8s, 3 sets of 8, different muscle groups. Right. So
3 sets of 8.
3 sets of 8 reps, and each time I go to the gym, I'll do back and buys. Pretty simple. This isn't like a gimmicky workout. It's just like
no, this is what I need.
I do like back and buys because they're both like pulling motions, and you're engaging similar muscle groups, or chest and tries. So, bench press, triceps. Each muscle group, I'll pick 3 exercises for each muscle group. Okay. So for buys, I'll do 3 exercises. For back, I'll do 3 exercises.
Got it.
3 sets of 8. So on that 3rd set, you should not get all 8 reps.
Right.
If you do, that's great. But then next week you do that same exercise, you have to go up in weight for all 3.
Yeah, you want to max out.
Right. So you should be failing around like 7 or 8.
Right. Okay. Fail. What's that? Isn't there a word there that fail safe?
Fail safe. I think that's like a
fail out or something.
I think that's a key or something.
So that Doug key. So that's what I should do. I should fucking have that's probably part of my problem. Don't you think? I don't have a fucking
I mean, if you're going in there going like, what are my 2 exercises? Sit-ups and push-ups, and you're paying $5 million for a membership, you should probably go in there with a little notebook with some.
I like the steam room. Here's what I like about Equinox. I live in Queens, so when I'm in Manhattan, it's like sometimes you're stuck there. You finish a podcast, you have 4 hours to kill.
Okay.
I like to steam. I love the feeling of a steam, although I have like
warts on my feet. Don't you have a shower? Take a shower.
A shower too.
A shower is a hot, steamy shower. You can get that for free.
No, that's different. This one you can suck someone off. But often I go and I'm like, all right, I'll hit the little bouncy ball. I'll do some fucking curls and I'll
that's great.
That's good, right?
Yeah.
So whatever. Eventually I should get rid of my fucking Equinox. Now I have a child.
Yeah.
and I could probably use $380 a month.
Yeah, you could like before the pandemic, I was doing home workouts, and then obviously you had to during the pandemic. But yeah, just do like a little prison work. Like I have a backpack. I put like a bunch of books that I don't read. I don't read books in the backpack. Yeah, and that's my weight, and I'll do squats with a weighted backpack.
Now back to my injury. This must have happened from the squats.
Could have been.
It feels like.
I mean, I don't know. Is it getting worse? Every time you text me a problem, I just say, is it getting worse?
It doesn't get worse. It was bad. Like during the baby, it felt like it was worse because I was sitting all day and I wasn't exercising and I was stressed. And
yeah. If you have pain, just monitor it. If it's like slowly dissipating over time, then you're doing something right.
Okay.
Yeah. Bless you.
Let's talk baby.
I'm going to be a dad. Yeah.
Yeah. When do you do? December, right?
December 8th. Yeah.
Wow.
And her birthday is the 7th, so
that's the day Lennon was shot.
Who?
Lennon? John.
Oh, yeah.
The I Lennon.
John Lennon? Lenny. I was like, of Mice and Men?
Lenny Bruce.
Oh, yeah.
Lenny Bernstein. Wow, December 8th.
Yeah.
And how does is she blowing up?
She's blowing up. She can't sleep for shit. She's waking up. She's got like Braxton Hicks. You know about this?
The singer?
She died in a bathtub?
No, what's Braxton?
It's like it's like the body's way of preparing for labor. So it's like simulated contractions.
Oh, Jesus.
So the body's awful. Like, you're gonna have the baby, and it's like the worst like the uterus contracts around the first of all, I never knew what a contraction was until now. It's
I literally still don't. I have a baby that's 10 days old. I don't know what a contraction is.
It's the uterus, which is the organ that the baby's within, which I forget that the baby's in the uterus. I think it's the baby, and then there's like a uterus nearby.
Right. In utero.
Great
album.
Yeah, but no, the baby's right in that uterus, and the contractions are what to my knowledge, push the baby out of the hole. And she's having practice versions of that.
Wow.
And it's bad. So the baby was breech. So the head's over the feet. And
that's bad.
That's bad because it's supposed to come out head first, not feet first. And if it comes out feet first, then the umbilical cord could wrap around the neck, blah, blah, blah.
Well, and I think also you fucking break things and pull
because the baby's head is so soft, so it could like I don't know the ins and outs of that, but the doctor was basically like, we have to either do a manual technique to like it's like they're making pizza or like they have to like push the baby around,
right? Oh God.
Yeah. Or if that doesn't take, then they have to do a C-section,
right?
Like the emergency C,
which
not
we
emergency,
ended up doing.
Yeah. So obviously she wanted to do natural birth, but she's like, well, the upside of this is like, if you do natural birth, then it kind of, your vagina gets a little, has to expand a lot.
Straight. Yeah. Then you're out.
So I'm like, maybe this breech thing isn't so bad.
Well,
maybe we should cancel this breech reversal.
Well, the thing is, we had that. I mean, he was like that, and then eventually just naturally went down but you're getting closer to the day now.
And I think going back to this Braxton Hicks thing, I think the contractions are like what pushes like the muscle of the uterus, helps kind of like reorient the baby the right way. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we went in. We wanted to do, or she wanted to do. I don't care. Yeah. It's her body, her choice.
Right.
As they say, obviously. She was planning to go natural. We went in to be induced, to have her induced, to induce labor, which, again, I thought, I had so many misconceptions about everything. I thought when people were labor, Sarah thought the same thing, by the way. I thought labor was like you're biting a towel and you're sweating and you're screaming. So you thought, and you're squeezing.
I thought that too. I thought the labor was the delivery itself.
Yes. When people say, and I hate to sound like an asshole, when women say I was in labor for 35 hours.
Yeah.
That's not anything. Like don't get me wrong, it sucked. But like the man has labor worse. I'm sitting in a fucking chair.
Okay.
So we were in labor. Sarah got her epidural.
Yes.
Which I highly recommend, which is fucking creepy.
Oh, she's going to get that.
Yeah.
By the way,
creepy.
I love that every woman I talk to is like, get the drugs. Get the drugs. Get the drug. It's like they think they're being badass by.
Well, it's fun. They have a button and you just load it up. Whenever you feel any kind of discomfort, you just hit it. And it goes up. But so the epidural was scary. I'm a big needle guy. I hate needles. I can watch anything, whatever, but needles are just fucking disgusting to me. I can't stand it.
So it's a needle that goes into...
It goes into your fucking back.
Oh, that's right. And the whole controversy is it could paralyze you. That's like the...
Oh, they didn't even mention that.
That's like the 1% or less than 1% of people actually. It hits like a wrong nerve.
Oh, okay. I'm sure it's... Our guy's name was Tron, the anesthesiologist who came in. It was funny. We had a funny moment because he barely spoke English.
Yeah. Did he ride in on a motorcycle? Or?
He did. He came ripping in.
A future motorcycle.
Yeah. And then later he came in again, like 30 hours later. It was like Kramer with, hey, Ping. I was like, hey, Tron. And everyone was like, you guys know each other? And I was like, well, he put a fucking 40-inch needle into my wife's asshole the other day. But anyway, but labor, we did not realize this. Labor is like once they induce labor, she's now in labor, which we were for 24 hours. But most of the time, Sarah's just laying there, kind of half asleep, half awake, and I'm sitting in a chair trying to sleep. Like we're just kind of bullshitting. And she was on drugs, so she was quite sedated. So she was actually sleeping.
So they induced her first, and then the labor begins after... Like the water breaks?
Yes, they break your water.
Okay.
But her, so she was at like 0 centimeter or 1 centimeter or whatever. They have to get to 12 centimeters to give the baby. And then they put what's called a balloon to like start the process. Well, it's like a literal balloon that blows up to open up your cervix or whatever. And then they came in and they were like, okay, you're at a 3. And I was like, okay, now we're talking. And the doctor was like, oh no, that's just what the balloon does. Like there's been no growth.
Oh, okay.
Like that's just what we've manually done.
Yeah.
And so she she started getting contractions towards the end. I don't want to make it sound like it was nothing. Towards the end, like 20 hours in, she started to get really painful contractions. But even with the painful contractions, they still were like, oh yeah, you're nowhere near where we need to be. And so we ended up doing a C-section. So by the way, once I'm joking a little bit, once you start getting contractions, it's a fucking
Did you
nightmare.
have a birth plan going into it? Because I hear all about this birth plan that I'm supposed to memorize and know. But she's like, if I go under or whatever happens, you have to execute this birth plan like it's some sort of, heist plan. They're like, you can't do this. When the baby comes out, it's going to be covered in this white, jizzy, cream cheese stuff. Don't let them wash that off. That helps build the immune system. Put it right on your chest so it goes skin-to-skin contact, but don't wipe the cream cheese off. That's what helps. And I'm like, if somebody takes my baby and starts washing it off, I'm not going to fight them. I'm going to say that's what they thought we had to do.
Yeah, no, we have a total different thing. I think we have different kind of partners or something because...
Well, she's just on TikTok reading all these
Well, Sarah's
TikTok.
on... Yeah, that's where Sarah's getting all her info too, is TikTok.
Yeah, different algorithm.
It's so TikTok-y. But yeah, I went Zen mind, beginner's mind. I looked up nothing. I knew nothing. But when we went in for the C-section, it's a crazy scene, man.
Yeah, well, they have a divider, right?
Yeah, so it's like a sheet.
What is that for? So that you don't get splatter? Blood?
Yeah, and so I think you're not seeing them fucking cut you open.
That's true.
Because they're not knocking you out.
They're not knocking you out. And I think you can feel, or no, they numb your body. So you can't feel anything from what?
They numb you.
Chest down?
Yeah, exactly. And she said she could just feel pressure and like wriggling. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
In the moment, I was great, but like looking back, it makes me want to it makes my knees weak.
Yeah. I saw one video and they do an incision and then there's no time it's really just they make the incision and then it's like comes right out.
Yeah. Tommy Johnny had a great joke about a C-section where he's like, not a baby. They're just pulling stuff out and then they're like, there's the baby. And then they just put everything back. But so it was crazy and everyone's is different or whatever, obviously.
So you didn't well, I guess you can't, if it's a C-section, you can't catch the baby because with natural birth, she's like, if you do it the natural way, you have to catch the baby, which is like you're down there literally taking the baby out and announcing what it is because we don't know. It's going to be a surprise.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We have totally different experiences here.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we just wanted a surprise because, it's one of life's few great mysteries. So I'm like, let's be surprised.
Oh, and it remains a mystery these days, folks.
Yep.
Fluidity.
So we don't, so catching the baby, I don't know. You can't do that with a C-section, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Okay.
Well,
and also somebody was like, don't look at it. If you look at it, it's going to change you'll never look at it the same again.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just stay by her head and hold the hand.
Yeah,
that's a whole other bag of hammers you got going on there. But so yeah, we went, and what's crazy for us is you're waiting and waiting and waiting for hours and hours and hours, like 24 hours almost. And then they're like, okay, nothing's happening, so we're just going to do a C-section. And then you get hit with like a wave, or I got hit with like a wave of anxiety and emotion because you're like,
yeah.
So now it's like, now I'm just going to have a baby in a half an hour.
Right. For the rest of your life.
Yes.
Right.
And they're like, all right, we're going to go get a room ready. And then they take your wife, partner, girlfriend, person, lady, and then they just leave you in this room. So that's when I got really emotional. I was just in a room that I had been in for 24 hours thinking my baby's going to be born there. And then they clear out, and I'm literally sitting there with all of our luggage packed. You got to make sure you pack.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty of
the car
stuff.
seat's already in the car.
Yeah, that's good. We didn't do that till we were leaving. And I had my dad helping, and we were all like screaming at each other.
Yeah, apparently there's hooks in the seat.
Yes. Yeah.
There's like anchors. I didn't even know that.
It was a whole thing. But yeah, so then I'm just sitting there with all of our luggage in a room at 2:00 in the morning by myself. Like, this is crazy. My wife's getting whatever they're doing. And this was hilarious, by the way. A lady comes in and goes, all right, just put on the bunny suit. You got to put on all the
accoutrement.
Like Mark Wahlberg at the end of Departed.
Yeah.
And then she goes, actually, wait, you got to take that off. You got to move all your luggage into this. So I had to take it off and on. And then I went in for the C-section, and yeah, they have a big curtain up, and Sarah is just like tits up on this side, and it's me and her and the anesthesiologist, and there's just a group of people working on the other side. And when the baby comes out, they literally are like, are you ready? And they just lower the curtain. It's literally like a magic trick. And you see the baby, like, they pull the fucking baby out, and he's screaming, which is good. You want to hear it crying.
Usually it takes a second. They have to like turn it upside down, smack the ass or something. Right. I don't know.
And then it's a crazy scene. So then Sarah can't be with the baby because, first of all, this is something that nobody told Sarah that you should tell
Ashley.
Yeah. I almost said Bethany. I've met her 48 times. We've danced. Canner's girlfriend is Bethany. I get my friends' girlfriends confused.
No, that's okay.
Apologize.
I mean, for what it's worth, we haven't been together it's only been like less than 2 years. This is a very fast relationship.
You got that right. So Sarah and I have been together for 48 years. We went to high school together, for God's sakes. We weren't even in high school at the same time. Anyways, but this she should know. Tell her this, because this is the thing nobody told Sarah, and we were blown away by this, is that as soon as you have the baby, all your hormones go, and so you're shaking. Like, she was shaking like this. Like, I thought something was wrong, and they were like, no, that's normal. And then every woman I've talked to since is like, oh, yeah, that was crazy. Like, it's not a cold, shivery shake.
What do you mean? They're all secreted at the same time? Like, all your hormones are like come out of your brain?
I don't know all the science, but that's what the doctor said. It's like, it's a massive drop in hormones. And so
I can imagine, because her hormones right now are just completely wacky. So I can imagine it's going to affect her pretty bad.
Well, you're also like fucking wide open, or even if it's natural, whatever. But so anyway, she was trembling.
Did they give her the baby?
No, they couldn't, because she was shaking that bad.
Wow.
And she's also wide open.
Yeah.
But she was like that. And then every woman we've talked to is like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, I don't understand how nobody fucking mentioned this.
That's crazy.
So just be prepared.
It's almost like a seizure-esque type.
That's what it felt like. Yeah.
Did you put the baby right on your chest?
No. So they take the baby and they put him in like a heated crib, because it's like fucking
incubator.
Freezing. I don't think it's an incubator.
I was in an incubator. I was 6 weeks early. I was like wicked premature.
No, it wasn't incubatory. It's just a regular crib with just a heat lamp, and then they weigh them and do all this stuff, and then they're like, Dad, go be with the baby.
Heat lamp.
And I got some photos. It's literally a hot lamp. It's like these
mozzarella sticks.
And so then there's a timer, and it's like literally counting up. Like, I have a photo of him at like 4 minutes and 22 seconds, and you go there and they're wiping the fucking shit off him and blood and whatever. And I'm just standing there like talking to her, hey, buddy, how you doing?
Yeah.
And then this is where I got all fucked up, is I was like, Sarah, he's beautiful. And I turned thinking I'm going to talk to Sarah, but it's just a curtain, and I saw her open wound, like a red, dark red, like alien inside her fucking body. And at the time, I was like, okay. And there's blood on the lamp, the fucking operation light. There's blood on the floor. And they told me after, it's not actually blood. It's, I don't know if it's placenta, some word I don't know. And it was quite something. And then they just have to hold, I brought the baby over, which now you're just carrying a baby that's 5 minutes old, which is the most terrifying.
Do they like announce the time of birth and the length and the weight too? Or is that later?
The length comes later, but the weight and I screenshot. I was like very hyper aware of everything. I actually have the audio of his first cry. Like I had the wherewithal to like hit my audio and record.
Are you allowed to record? Set up a tripod in there, like you're.
I don't know. You probably could
recording your set.
And then I did. I screenshotted it, and I was a minute late because it was my screenshot's 2:35. Officially, he was born 2:34. But I also got a photo when they dropped the curtain. I just was like, boom. So I have a photo. It looks epic because it has the light.
Patreon.
Like shining on him, and his umbilical cord is still attached. He's covered in blood, and you can see her blood. I'll show you the photo if you want.
Did you do a late cord clip, or did you clip it right away?
No, they just did that. I don't know if it's different because it's C-section or whatever, because everyone was like, you'll cut the cord. But I like literally watched her just immediately cut the cord and take the baby.
That's the thing. That's what I'm worried about. Is she has this birth plan. We're going to do a delayed cord clamp. So we got to wait 20 minutes or whatever it is. So the cord fills up with blood because we're going to clip this, and then we might save the cord blood for later. Because the cord blood can cure cancer or whatever.
Wow. I really feel like we have very different aged women.
I guess.
My wife is 45.
And my girl's not
your girlfriend's 11. So this is like a huge difference.
She's not even like a crunchy granola type person, but she's like wants to do all these like things. Like she wants to get the placenta sent out to get placenta pills because they help with postpartum depression, apparently.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was like, I'll pop a few placenta pills.
Yeah, why not? Send them my way. I'll crush them up and snort them. But
I think I'm going to try some breast milk.
I have done that. I've had Luis Gomez's baby mama's breast milk, but that was just on a pie. That was just on, you know what?
I'm going to put the breast milk in my smoothie station.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's good post-workout recovery.
But yeah, so that was it for us. And then you just have a fucking kid and it's crazy. And he's there and he's 3 minutes old.
Wow.
And you're like, and then you hold him, and of course you're terrified that you're going to drop him because their nervous systems
are they wiggly and squiggly?
Yeah, they're super wiggly and squiggly. And their nervous systems aren't fully developed. So like every noise, they do that.
Yeah, well, that's the Moro reflex. In OT school, you have to learn about, because OT is big in pediatrics too. So you have to learn about neonatal, the primitive reflexes and everything. So the Moro reflex is like the startle reflex. So any sort of like loud noise or quick movement, they flip their arms up. Yeah. Like it's almost like a protective reaction.
It's scary. And I've had it where I'm holding him and he does it and his head, slides off here real quick and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And at times like you put him on your lap like this and you'll go to grab your drink and then he'll have one of those and you're like, ah.
Yeah.
And it's really scary.
They say like, when you're, have you ever had like a younger sibling or like a younger cousin or something, you're going sledding and they're in front of you and they're like, their head like goes back and like knocks your teeth out? That's like, you're not supposed to have a baby so close. You're not supposed to be like, ooh, chee goo, because they can like fucking headbutt you.
Well, yeah, he'll do that sometimes. He'll lift his head and he has like strong neck and he does that and then just goes poof and like smacks it down.
Yeah,
and,
tummy time. Build up those neck muscles.
Yeah, you need some tummy time. You also don't want to have a fucked up head.
Flat spot.
Yeah, flat head. So you know a lot. And by the way, our baby also did have a slight cone head for like a few minutes. Yeah. She's like, that'll go away.
They're supposed to.
Really soft. Yeah.
Because it has to morph to a vaginal birth, I think it's more so has to like narrow its skull.
Yeah. But it's weird. It was like his head looked like this for just a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty wild. And you're like, oh my God. And what's helpful, I kept making this comparison is with giving birth or going to have a baby with doing a late night set. Sarah and I felt similar, where it's a thing of like, all right, we're going there, we're packed up, here we go. Yeah. It's the big day, but it won't be right away. We have to get there really early. And then you're the most nervous person there. Everyone else has done this 5 times that day.
Yeah.
And that's what's really helpful is seeing everybody handle the baby because you think you have this fragile fucking egg that and the nurses are just like, and they're just feeding it. And what's crazy too is to watch your baby get fed like a bottle 3 minutes into his life. And he just is like this.
Yeah.
You're like, nobody taught you
That's a reflex too. That's the the rooting reflex is the reflex where they're looking for the nipple, and then there's the sucking reflex, which is like they just instinctually know how to thrive.
Well, that's the thing. It's acid reflux. But that's the thing that's so interesting is like, and Alan Watts talks about this a lot, is like no one teaches you to breathe or to blink or to swallow.
That's what I can't get behind is like they're breathing in the belly. They're breathing in a fluid, in like amniotic fluid, and they're like opening their mouth and they're like drinking this in like a whale. And when they're born, they're still attached to the umbilical cord, which is how they breathe. So they're breathing in air and the umbilical cord. So it's like they're little superhumans.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's really weird too. And then, you know, the baby is just living its life and every single thing is new and foreign to him.
Right.
Every sound, smell, touch, voice thing.
I guess that's why it's important to like, you know, they say like to talk to the baby when it's in the womb because they can start to recognize your voice. It's like soothing sound.
Yeah, I do a good amount of that, and I do a lot of talking to him now. But that's what's hard right now for me is the baby's at an age where I've always been really, really good at connecting with kids and nieces and nephews and cousins, and it's something I take a lot of pride in and enjoy.
Right.
But this baby is at an age, he's currently 11 days old, he doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about. He's not, he can't really see.
Right.
And so and you're trying to be like, hey, buddy, hey, breathe, or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's there's literally no connection other than, I mean, you got to think evolutionarily, I feel connected to him because he's my son and he's a baby, but you're not having an exchange of smiles or recognition or like, hey, this guy, which I've talked about with my therapist a long time ago is like, with our dads of a certain generation in a certain area, particularly, is they're not good at connecting in general with other people, but particularly the first few weeks and months and years of a relationship is there's literally no connection. Yeah. So you have a lot of dads that men in general, toxic masculinity, whatever it is or was, of men that just have a hard time connecting in general. And then you give them a baby who literally can't see or understand anything, who's just sitting there like,
yeah.
And so I think a lot of dads are just like, all right, well, I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, they can hardly connect with their actual spouses or significant others. So what are they going to do with this little toy that's on the table?
Exactly. And it can get frustrating. Like at night, you know, the baby is awake at night and, you know, he's upset and you're not sure why because you feed him and he can't be like this. Oh, my asshole has a rash on it.
Yeah.
Or and they say a baby upset could be a little thing as like a string from their outfit is like wrapped around their toe.
Oh yeah, because you're so sensitive to every sort of stimulus out there because you have no sensory, you know, tolerance of it. So yeah,
but you're such a pro. I feel like you're going to be great. You know so much. I mean, emotionally
you
you're dead, but I mean, you know, science.
I think I have a leg up as far as like knowing some of the stuff, but nothing prepares you because every baby's different, every delivery is different. I'm terrified. But I think that seeing you, how you're like handling it now, you're not having a meltdown.
No, I don't feel even close to meltdown,
and that gives me hope.
Good. Yeah, this is my particular brand of anxiety in general, and that's what anxiety is in general, is if, you know,
anxiety,
if you're worried about something.
Is intrinsic, unknown stress, and then fear is an external stress that you know. So that's the only thing is like, if I'm afraid of something or fearful of something, at least I know what it is because it's like I can see it. But if the anxiety is like, that's terrifying because you have no idea where it's coming from.
Yeah. Well, I've talked about this before a little bit is on this podcast and elsewhere, is that I get so anxious about like, you know, having when I had to have my wisdom teeth pulled and then the stitches pulled out. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I'm going to have the stitches. And then the doctor or surgeon, whatever, Dr. O'Stooney, shout out, is like, well, you're going to faint? Like, are you going to be okay? And I'm like, I don't faint. And then as he's pulling the stitches out, I'm like totally calm. And he's like, you're handling this better than anybody that's ever done it.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what the hell you were talking about. And I think it's similar with this. It's like you're nervous because the unknown or whatever. But in the moment where Sarah's got a bloody fucking stomach and everything, I'm just like, let me just carry the baby over here and talk to the baby.
It's also like anxiety itself is actually a fight or flight response. It protects you. You know, it's like we catastrophize things, but I think that's to make what actually happens seem like, oh, this is actually fine. Right. So I think it's actually in a roundabout way to protect you. And so you're not going into something to be like, this is going to be fine. And then it's a train wreck. And now your whole life is unraveling.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it's like, I didn't do a ton of, excuse me, I'm still getting over my COVID, which is annoying. I had COVID right in the baby's face. Totally fine.
They can't get it.
No, they're fine. But I forget what I was going to say because I got
anxiety.
Yeah, I forget what I was going to say. But basically, I was just going to say, I think that like once you have the baby, it's like you're just dealing with it. He's there and you just
I think that's what I'm telling Ashley too, is like once it comes out, it's just autopilot. From this moment until we get a babysitter till we can leave and go out to dinner or whatever, we're taking care of this life form. So every second of its life, we have to be making sure somebody's looking at it, making sure it's fed, making sure it's clean and not dead.
Yeah, and it's really surreal. It's funny because I have a friend, I won't say his name just in case this sounds bad or people are offended. He said he's like, he has 2 kids and he was like, honestly, he's like, it takes like 8 months with each of them to really feel like deeply connected. Like this is my son. Because they don't look similar to what I was saying. They're not really
right.
They're not facial. There's no facial recognition. They don't really look like you or behave like you. But eventually, they start taking on your traits, and you start to have this feeling of like, oh my God, this is like such a deep connection. So you just gotta get through that 8 months.
Yeah. No, we're like, we want this to be a surprise. We don't know what the sex is going to be, but as it gets closer, we're like, we got to know what this fucking thing is.
Well, I mean, that's surprising to me because that always seems crazy because I'm like, don't you want to prepare for his...
Well, that's the thing. What is the prepare? Like, it's just
blue,
a matter of color.
pink.
Yeah, but who gives a shit? I don't really care.
Boy.
All of our stuff is, I mean, Target sells all neutral shit anyway. So our closet's just... gray and white with ice cream cones and giraffes, and it's all cute stuff. So we don't care about the color.
Right.
Also, I don't like either of those colors.
All right. Yeah, I guess you don't need to know. But also, I feel like some of our, what do you call it? I can never remember the word when they put the fucking thing at the camera.
Ultrasound. Yeah.
Some of those ultrasounds, you can look at yourself and figure it out.
Well, they don't go below the waist. They show you the bottom of the feet, like the plantar aspect of the foot, but they don't show you like the wide version of the profile.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, no, I don't care. It's not for any like woke reasons. We just wanted that extra meaningful moment of like, is it this person or this person that we've named these 2 different sexes? Is it this or is it?
So you have a name for each.
We have a name for each ready to go. And so that's going to be the moment, is being like, oh, it's this one.
Right. Now, how much time and energy and disagreement did you have over the name?
Names are tough. And I try to do a bit about this. I'm working on is like, I don't think this will burn it, but like, we don't want to name the child after anybody who we've slept with in the past.
Sure.
Which is a great way to reveal to your partner, like how many people you've slept with.
Oh, that's very funny.
It's like the cringiest game of guess who ever, So we have had a lot of names, and then we hear, because my last name's Key, and the baby's last name's going to be my last name. So anything, my last name's tough because it's like Al Key.
Right.
Yeah, Don Key. It's like, it's tough. So we have to have
even Ronky is not great.
Yeah, Ronky.
Ronky Donkey. Monkey.
Lean Key.
Funky.
King Key. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, I guess.
And so, but boys are tough because it's like you want it to be cute, but also a strong name later in life. And girls can be whatever. That was easier.
Can I guess? Bruce and Sheila. Isn't it funny to think of babies named Bruce or Sheila?
I do love old-fashioned names. I think we didn't go with this one, but I like Dorothy.
Dorothy's great.
Yeah.
And you call her Dottie?
Dottie.
Fucking Dottie.
Yeah.
You're in New England. Everyone.
Dottie shoot up pants.
There you go. His mother, yeah.
What's your mother's name?
Dorothy.
Oh, Dottie.
That's beautiful.
All right.
I feel so New England to me. It's so funny because there's certain things, and I know this is our own New England thing that we have, but I'm like, Dottie and Kitty and Patty just feel so...
My grandma was Margaret, and everyone called her Maggie.
Oh, wow. I never heard that.
Really? Maggie?
I heard Peggy and Maggie. I've never heard Margie.
Yeah, Maggie.
I mean, that's crazy.
That's really New England, yeah.
But yeah, Dottie just feels... that's like a name I can't say not in a Boston accent.
If we have a boy, you're gonna like the name.
I can't wait.
So I can't say it.
You can't do Joe.
I can't do Joe. I can't even do Joe. Like Jokey. Although I did think of a middle name Joe, so it could be blah 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 Joe Key.
I like
Joseph
that.
Key. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard, and I recommend we didn't tell anyone in our family the name because you just don't want people to be like this. Nah, I don't know.
Not even that, but just a nonverbal reaction could ruin it. Just like a, huh.
Right.
You're going to go with that, huh?
Yeah, no, exactly. And people will give you suggestions or whatever, and it's just awful. It's easier to just be like, this is the name. Which even that, my family still didn't comment on the name. They were just kind of like dead silence.
That's why when you posted something like, if you have my number, text me. And I was like, I got to text Joe. I do want pictures, but I got to know the name because I can't name my child after the same name.
Oh,
so I had to know the name just in case because I think we ran that name by.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it, but.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, our name. It's also an interesting thing about name. Like I'm sure at some point our child's name will become public somehow. But it's also weird. People are like, what's the name? We got to tell it. But I'm like, people I don't know. And I'm like, well, what's Martin Scorsese's kid's name? What's Tom Hanks's? Oh, Tom Hanks's sons are actors. But you know what I mean? But like, I don't know. Like, you don't need to know my kid's name.
And I don't want my kid to just grow up with a selfie camera in front of their face their entire life. I just can't have that.
No, I really think, I got to be careful what I say here because I have a lot of close friends with kids. But I actually think the way some of the people put their kids on social media as public figures, I think it should be like a jailable offense.
Yeah, it's too much. I feel like you should have a special license to do that. Or they're like, they're a baby actor or something. I don't know. But
it's just a thing of like, well, you've just decided to make your child a public figure. Yeah. And you're putting them with shit on their leg and their dick and their butt and I just think it's a little bit.
And that's in a database for the rest of their life. Yeah,
and they don't have a choice in it. And then Sarah has a story she's told before, maybe on her podcast, but where she was in Houston, this is years ago, and she just saw these two kids riding their bike, and she's like, "Oh, that's Jacob and Jimmy." They've never met. She's like, "I know those two kids and their names and where they go to school," and she just thought it's so easily she could be like, "Hey, I'm friends with your mom, Carol.
Yeah.
We all went to this high school to get like."
Yeah.
It's
one thing if they're adults. Like when I first moved to New York, I'd been following you on Instagram, and I never knew Sam Morril at the time. This is like 2013, 2014. And I remember moving to New York and going to a holiday party at Stand Up New York, and Sam Morril walks out of the club, and I went, "Oh, hey, you're Joe List, buddy." And he went, "You're goddamn right I am." And he just walked away.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah.
That's very touching.
And it's like, but I had never seen him before. I never met him before. But like when it's kids, that's weird to be like, "Oh, hey, Sheila."
Yeah. And you could be like, "I know what high school you go to. I know." And depending on, certain comics have podcasts with kids, and you're like, "I know your fears and everything you've done in your whole life."
Yeah.
So that's that's my thought.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is like when my kid grows up, you're gonna be so proud. You're gonna be like, I got to show the public this.
Right.
I guess we haven't had that experience yet, but I mean, yours is 11 days old. You can be like, look what he's doing. He's sitting there.
But you can text people.
Yeah,
you can text. I've texted 75 people. Here's photos of my kid, and Tom, Dick, and Harry. They don't need to see my kid.
It's a cute kid, folks.
Hell of a kid, beautiful boy. I'll send you a photo. We'll post. It'd be great if you put a photo in right here. Well, we gotta wrap up. I mean, I love talking to you, but what do you think this hip business is? Come on, hit me with it.
I'll have to put you down on the rug and stretch you out.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. I do this shit all the time.
The figure four, stretch the piriformis out. That's important.
I'm doing that. I think maybe I'm not doing enough core workouts or whatever.
Start with the core, then we'll talk. We'll see if things get better from there.
I think it's from it started right after I started doing weighted dips a lot. I probably have bad form.
Well, also if you're starting to go right into heavy lifting from not like working your way up, you're going to have some pain. But I mean, delayed onset muscle soreness is normal when you're lifting, but not like nagging joint pain.
Well, it's not nagging. It's just when I stand after being seated for a while. Or if I touch it for a while, it hurt to the touch.
Tender?
Yeah, but it felt like that bone.
Yeah.
What's that face? Is it cancer?
No. No, I'm just saying maybe it's just maybe you bruised the bone. Did you ever like bump it or something?
No, I don't think so. No, it went on for a while. We'll figure it out. Sorry, this is more for off air.
Yeah.
Where can they find it? Tell them about the special. Brand new special.
Yeah, just my first special, Mother of the Year. It's on YouTube. Mark Norman put on his YouTube because I have no following whatsoever. It's quite pathetic. So he offered to put it on his YouTube, and it's doing okay. So watch it. It's very funny. It's the first 13 years of my comedy career into 44-minute special.
Fuck yeah, I got to watch it. Have I plugged it? Have I promoted it?
You did. You put on your story. Thank you. I had a lot of everyone that I texted reshared it for me, and I'm grateful. So I think it's good. It's funny. It's got some raw moments, some funny moments, some silly moments. It was recorded live at the Comedy Connection in Providence.
Love that room.
My home club. And Corey and Dave, great guys.
Oh, I love those guys.
But yeah, so it's up there forever now, and leave a nice comment on it. Because that helps, I believe.
Yeah, get the algo going. Like, comment, start a debate on there. I always say, dude, LeBron versus Jordan, whatever.
Yes.
Get it going.
Mother of the year.
Yeah, congrats, buddy. And it's always good to see you. And I appreciate you always letting me ask you all these health questions. I'm going to start doing more planks.
Yeah. Text me. I can actually send you a list of what I do.
Please, for God's sake, that's all I want. I want to look at you. Don't give me the nose exercises, but the rest of the body stuff I need. And then you can check me out, Joe List Comedy, of course. Make sure you subscribe and tell a friend about the show. That's the best thing you can do for the show. And I will be at, I don't know. I don't have a lot of dates. I have a child. But January 11th through the 13th, Tacoma Comedy Club. The weekend after that, I think 19 and 20 it is. That makes sense. Poughkeepsie, Laugh It Up. Pittsburgh Improv, March 28th through the 30th. Come to a show. Thanks for listening.
Yes.
Be kind to yourself.